Robert Kazinski played Zeph in Section 31, and he was recently interviewed on Trek Culture, where he said that he was told by Alex Kurtzman that Star Trek was dying, and that everything they've been doing with New Trek is in order to save Star Trek. I have a few points to make. Welcome to the Tachyon Pulse podcast part of the scitrek family.
Our tachyon pulse has been unable to completely penetrate the anomaly.
There'll be a link in the description for the video over on Trek Culture. Kazinski, who played Zeph on Section 31, was interviewed by Sean Ferrick. In the interview, he really talked about how he was a little disappointed by the reaction a lot of fans had to Section 31. Not that people disliked it necessarily, but there was a lot of anger. And he basically said, oh, look, Trek fans, and he included himself in this, he's obviously, and I didn't know this, a big Trek fan. He knows Star Trek. But he was talking about how, look, Trek fans are better than this. We're not Star Wars fans. We're not other, thing fans. We're Star Trek fans. We should be a little more caring, a little bit more understanding. That's the first point I'm going to have is, look, yeah, anybody that gets genuinely angry about this. I mean, I got annoyed because it was a disappointing show. I was looking forward to it. It's not a TV movie, and I'm I'm not comparing it to the movies, but it's a TV movie with Michelle Yeoh. I was looking forward to this, but sadly, it wasn't good enough. And yeah, I was disappointed. Now, some fans have been unkind to the point of aggression online. And that is not necessary. Nobody should be calling anybody names or really attacking anyone for this. Even Alex Kurtzman. It's a group effort making these movies. It's not just his fault. But there is no need for a vicious attack on anyone. But we can express our disappointment and annoyance at this. Because under Alex Kurtzman, Star Trek has been consistently not very good. Other than Lower Decks. Particularly Lower Decks is the only show that's been done under New Trek that has actually, I would argue, been consistently good. Discovery wasn't. Strange New Worlds desperately has ups and downs, even though it's much better. Lower Decks is good. Prodigy is actually quite good, but it's a kids' show and it's a bit different. Picard Season 1 and 2 were awful. There has been no good Star Trek other than Lower Decks under Alex Kurtzman. Kazinski, Zeph, even said, when I heard about this project, I didn't want to do it. I thought nobody's going to want to watch a Section 31 movie. Nobody's going to want to see this thing. It's got no runtime. It's got no budget. And people are going to compare it to the movies and they're not going to like it. And I don't want to do it. I don't think it's a very good idea. But then he said, I spoke to Alex Kurtzman. And Alex Kurtzman told him that Star Trek was dying. Just let that sink in a second. Alex Kurtzman thinks Star Trek is dying. We're going to talk about why in a second. But I'm going to tell you why Alex Kurtzman thinks it is. Basically, what the actor was saying was that Star Trek never had the massive fan base like Star Wars. I disagree. I actually think Star Trek and Star Wars are the daddies of sci-fi, and I think Star Trek has a massive fan base. It has a smaller, very aggressively loyal fan base that dress up as Klingons and go to conventions and everything. But the fact is, for decades, Star Trek had conventions all over the world that people attended in their thousands. People love Star Trek. But what the actor was saying was that big fan base, that loyal fan base, is now getting on a bit. I fell in love with TNG when I was 16, 17 years old. I'm now in my 40s. Nearly 50. So yeah, I've got a few years left in me though. I've got at least 10. So I don't really completely agree that it's dying because the fans are dying off. So they basically said this Star Trek Section 31 wasn't for Star Trek fans. It was for new fans, to bring people in to Star Trek. That's why there was very little Section 31 or Star Trek in this film, because it was designed to bring other people in to the franchise. And then they would go, what is a Klingon? And hopefully explore the franchise as a whole. That strategy is idiotic. I've got a couple of reasons. One, the whole thought process in the first place that Star Trek fans don't matter because we're all dying, apparently, it's a little insulting. 47. A few years left in me. The other thing is that the fan base is too small for the show to survive. I don't think is accurate. The other thing is then that all of this new Trek stuff is all designed to bring in new Star Trek fans and to do something that's modern and in line with other sort of projects and things, very colourful, very bright, and, you know, attractive to a younger audience. That's all fine. But what do they think attracted the audience that is currently all apparently dying off in the first place? I was 16 or 17 years old when I fell in love with Star Trek The Next Generation. If they just made a Star Trek show that was good, people would watch it. And that Star Trek show can be Star Trek, because what's the most popular thing New Trek has done since Alex Kurtzman took over? Lower Decks, which is basically a love letter to the Next Generation, and Picard Season 3, which was packed full of nostalgia just for Star Trek fans. Didn't that tell them that what they were doing in this philosophy of, oh, let's do something bright and colourful and new, and we must attract new Star Trek fans, and forget about all the old ones, they've all got dementia and they're dying anyway, is wrong. Their whole philosophy is wrong. Star Trek needs Star Trek shows. There is a core principles to Star Trek that made it popular in the first place. It's supposed to be a positive outlook on our future. Yes, okay, we want to see the warts and all occasionally. That's one of the reasons why we love Deep Space Nine so much. But there is supposed to be a philosophy to the Federation, to Star Trek, to us, humanity, being the best we can be. We want adventure. We want a bit of excitement. We want a bit of comedy here and there. But we don't need the Starship Enterprise doing loop-de-loops every 5 minutes like in Strange New Worlds. We don't need vast special effects and things. We don't need lots of pew, 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 pew every 5 minutes either. Star Trek, The Next Generation, Deep Space Nine, Voyager, it was cerebral as much as action. It was about the characters. That's why Strange New Worlds is better than Discovery. I'm sorry, but Robert Kazinski, I remember his name that time, Robert Kazinski agreed to do this movie because Alex Kurtzman basically told him, we need this for Star Trek to survive. No, what we need is for you to do good Star Trek. They managed it with TNG, they managed it with Deep Space Nine, they managed it with Voyager, they managed it with Enterprise. Why can't you do it with any show? Even when you get the ingredients right, and you do a show like Strange New Worlds, which I don't like prequels, and I wish I hadn't done really in a way because, you know, it's stepping on canon and stuff. I just wish they'd brought Anson Mount and all those actors in, but maybe on a different ship and not been the Enterprise. You know, Anson Mount not as, you know, Pike, as somebody else, a different captain. Could have been done. They just say, hello, my name's Bob. I'm the captain of the Cerritos. And, you know what I mean? In Discovery Season 2, that would have been cool. We could have had those characters in a different character, those actors aboard a starship, and it wouldn't have had to step on canon. Just don't put it on the Enterprise. But they did. But even when you get the ingredients right, that show is still Oh, great episode, crap episode, great episode, crap episode. It's not good enough. We don't need Star Trek aimed at youngsters. We need Star Trek that everyone can enjoy. And if it's good, it'll attract new people. It'll attract new fans because it happened before. The current generation, the bulk of the generation of Star Trek fans today came from the Next Generation, not the original series, because fair enough, those people are dying because they're in their 90s. The vast amount of Star Trek fans are in our mid-40s. We fell in love with the show when we were teenagers. If they did a good show, it would happen again. So no, I don't agree with the actor here. I don't agree with Alex Kurtzman, and I don't agree with his philosophy at Secret Hideout. It's difficult to make a new show. It's difficult to make a good show, definitely. But then don't blame it on this. Just admit we've not made very good Star Trek. That's all they got to do. But guys, get into the comments and tell me what you think. I've had my rant. I've had mine. You have yours now. What do you think? Go and watch the video on Trek Culture and come back and tell me, do you agree with him? Or do you think that actually, no, he's bang out of order and he's wrong? Like I do. I love the actor. I tell you what, we had the Zeph character, the only good thing in Section 31 for as far as I'm concerned, and they killed him off. It's a Kurtzman thing to do. Actually, if you're watching the video, he keeps talking about how if we get a load of sequels and we come back, he's dead. So I don't know how he thinks Zeph's coming back. But anyway, they're not getting a sequel. But get into the comments and tell me exactly what you think. If you are new to the channel and you enjoy watching me rant about these things, please hit the subscribe button. You can also hit that bell notification so you don't miss any of our videos. You can also go to patreon.com/scitrek, where most of our new videos do premiere first, and you get to see it without the advert. I've got a Starship Enterprise there. Back when Star Trek was good. Let's just remember that. As always, please stay safe, and I'll see you next time.